Three, two, one.
Hi, this is Karen Atwood. I am the Director of Consumer Credit Counseling in Waterloo, Iowa, and we're here to talk to you about the program You and Your Money. Money affects us in so many different ways, in particular our credit. I want to start by thanking Lou Porter, Bev, and the KBBG team for giving me this opportunity to partner with them to spread the word on credit. Today, as my guests, I have two people from Habitat for Humanity, Lindsay and Amanda, and we're going to discuss something that good credit can bring you. Many times you rent for many years, not really knowing what you're going to do, just expecting that the landlord's going to take care of everything, and that's going to basically be your entire life. Habitat offers you something different. It offers you an opportunity for home ownership. It's not something granted to people willy-nilly. It's not something that comes easily. There is work involved, but the work is very much worth it. In one of the major things that you have to have in order to get a Habitat home is cleaned up credit. Now we know everybody doesn't go from being 18, great credit at 19, 20, right on to the day you want to buy a home with no credit problems. That's not life. Life is getting credit problems, resolving them, getting them, resolving them, getting a job, paying bills. And that's where consumer credit comes in. We try to help you learn how to manage your money so that you can go ahead and be involved in something as wonderful as Habitat. Lindsay, would you like to tell us a little bit about the program, maybe where it came from, how it was developed?
Sure. Habitat for Humanity was founded in the mid-'70s by Linda Fuller and Millard Fuller, I thank you, Andy. And the premise was that a community helping each other out of the Koinonia Church. And so the basic premise of Habitat is we help families become homeowners through volunteer and donated materials, volunteer time, and then if you are selected as an applicant to be a Habitat homeowner, you also work with other volunteers in building your house and the houses of others. So it's this whole community helping each other do better, become homeowners, and build equity.
It's an entire volunteer effort.
Right.
And this weekend, Habitat will be holding its auction dinner. This is an event that they have every year in the spring. And supporters of Habitat come to it for dinner, and then prizes are auctioned off. Money is made to support the efforts, the money that is needed for Habitat for this next year. So it's a wonderful event, which I'm looking forward to going to again this year.
Great, great. Yeah, we're a nonprofit organization that has to fundraise our money, write grants, seek construction materials, that type of thing. So this Friday night is just another fun way that we get people together to help us raise money to help build more houses for more families.
Mandy, maybe you can tell us a little bit about something that happens when a person applies. They would send an application to your office on West 5th Street?
Yes, when we receive applications, they should be complete with 3 months income verification. The applications are initially reviewed by our staff. We make any follow-ups if there's questions regarding income or credit. And then the applications are reviewed by a selection committee that's made up of loan officers and credit counselors to determine if you're eligible for a loan through Habitat to purchase a home.
The idea is that if you can go to a bank to get a loan, if you have the kind of income and the kind of resources, well, Habitat's not really set for you. Habitat's set for people that couldn't really get a loan from a bank, because the big part of the gift here is that there is no interest on the Habitat loan, correct?
That is correct. Applicants who are approved should be between 30 to 60% of the area median income. So for a family in Waterloo, that's approximately $18,000 to $44,000 a year to qualify, and they cannot get a conventional loan.
Yes, so they would, and they become part of a team. They're learning their credit, they're learning what is in their credit. Most people who come to see us at Consumer Credit are unaware of what is in their credit, of what needs to be done. And many of the low-income people are just kind of depressed about the subject. They figure they're never going to have anything new or anything good anyway, so why should they bother? Well, we like to get them thinking about it. We like to get them looking to see what they can do right down the line, from the smallest bill to the largest. A lot of times people will have medical bills, and they just kind of throw them in the wastebasket. Let's not even think about it. Well, the medical foundations are very good at accepting applications, reviewing them, and writing off some of the medical debt. And that needs to be done. You need to apply for it and see if they won't do it to get rid of that, because then it is gone. Having served on Habitat committees, I know that the person has to be, it cannot have judgments out there. So if you haven't paid your cable bill and it's gone to your credit report, that's got to be straightened out. If you haven't paid a utility bill, same thing. Those are homeowner issues, because we know when you're owning a home, if indeed you don't pay your utilities or your cable, it's going to come back as a judgment on the home.
And I think that in many cases, like you said, people aren't aware of their credit. You know, Mandy, maybe you want to speak to this, but we've had people apply and they've been declined for a Habitat loan. And they go to Consumer Credit Counseling and learn, and then they come back and reapply because they've cleaned up their credit. And Mandy, there's probably a couple families that have done that.
Yes, that's correct. And one thing I can really appreciate about the Habitat program is that we don't want to just deny people based on credit. We want to give them the opportunity to clean up their credit, make referrals to Consumer Credit Counseling Services for help with that, and then come back to us and see if you can qualify. We have had several families come through who didn't qualify in the beginning. They went and cleaned up their credit, they did the work that was required, and they came back to us, and now they're in their homes and they're working on paying off their houses.
It's wonderful to hear, because many times we don't know either what happens after somebody leaves. But sometimes it just takes that idea, and then they sit down with their spouse or their family and say, hey, we can do this. That's a great gift at the end, to know you can own your own home, and you're not paying 26% interest to get it, you're not paying for it for 30 years, but it's a fixed, and you also have partners, Amanda and Lindsay, as well as Consumer Credit, helping you throughout this process. So if you feel lost at some point, one of us will help get you back on track. And we know at Consumer Credit that life is just about sideways and byways. There's never a straight path to get something done without something coming in the way, whether it is an accident or whether it is job loss or whatever it is. But we will help you get back on track so that you can find your way. How many homes have you built, or how many homes do you build on an average year?
Well, Habitat has completed 119 homes, and in Black Hawk, Bremer, and Butler County, there is a map on our website if you're curious of where we have built houses with a nice pinpoint map. We typically try and complete 10 to 12 houses a year. It just depends on the construction and how things go. Certainly this winter has been a challenge, but we'll have 3 home dedications this month alone.
Wow.
And the dedication is a fun kind of closing, wrap-up, celebration of the family's hard work, that 300 hours that the family has put in, all the volunteers that worked on the particular house, maybe a donor or a gift-in-kind donation as part of the house. So everyone comes together at the end and celebrates with a home dedication.
So if I apply, what's the first thing that happens?
The first thing that happens when someone submits an application is that we make sure it's complete with the income verification and that there's not any follow-up information that we need. If the application is complete, then it goes to the selection committee to be reviewed. The selection committee is made up of two parts. The selection credit committee has the first look at the application. If they decide that they would like to move forward with the application, then it goes to the selection home visit team. We would make a visit to the current rental, sit down with the family and determine what are some inadequacies of their current rental. And then the information goes back to the selection committee as a whole, and they make a vote on whether they should move forward with the application. And then the final step in the process is that it goes to the board of directors for a final approval. So from start to finish, turning in an application can take anywhere from a month to a couple months, depending on how much follow-up information that we need.
So the more complete the records, the faster it would be.
That's correct.
We have found in some of our programs that people do not keep check stubs, bank statements. You can go online to get copies of bank statements or checks, but at best it's only going to be 3 months. So you do have to keep track of those things, and you should, with any good bookkeeping system, you should have one place that you put them so that you could rely on them in a situation like this, because you will be asked for proof, not just a piece of paper, my income is X number of dollars. You need proof to back up what it is. So and a client would come to Consumer Credit to make sure that their finances were in order. This is a huge thing, buying a home. It's the largest purchase you'll make in your lifetime. You can buy many cars, boat, plane, whatever. All of those are just kind of extras. But a home is a place that you need, that should be comfortable to you. And the best type of home is to buy one that is either just reconditioned. Most of us can't think of a brand new. And that's basically what Habitat Home is. The volunteers who work on it are experienced people. They're not people who just started volunteering yesterday. They have a lot of experience. And that means they know how to secure things in your home. So when a person comes to us, then we will go through the budget with them, seeing to it that they have enough income for all of their expenses. If they have debt that has to be paid off, we try to get rid of that right away. That frees up money for you. I don't care who you are. You get rid of the debt, you have more to live on. Continue spending where you're spending money and don't pay the debt is just going to be dragging with you forever, only at increased interest rates. So we try to help you pay off the debt. In some situations, clients have the debt that we can help them out with by getting reduced interest and agreements with credit cards. If we can do that, we will. We'll set up a debt management plan. The client pays off the debt. When the debt's paid off, there again, they have that extra money to live on. So sometimes we set up a debt management plan for them. They could be a Habitat homeowner. Most likely they're not. Others need the hand-holding, and we will set up a bill-paying account for them, in which case they don't have a lot of credit cards, or maybe not any, but they're delinquent on utilities, delinquent on rent payments, those sort of things. So we will say, when you're paid, bring your money in, and we'll sit down with you and go through what needs to be paid. We'll do this for a 6-month period. Hopefully at the end of 6 months, the hand-holding is over, and you can take over the bills yourself, because you'll see what pattern was used. We have an account set up for clients who are disabled. And we have quite a number of people who need the money handled for them. Social Security has referred them that way. So that's a third type of client that we handle. We also have a housing program. We do pre-purchase, this program for Habitat, delinquency prevention, reverse mortgage counseling. Many times elderly people need the equity in their home to live on. Some people are afraid of this, but it's really a good program because it can keep them in their home for a long period of time. And a counselor out of Ames does the HECM counseling for us. Bankruptcy, pre-bankruptcy, pre-filing counseling. we do. Pre-discharge education, we do. It's funny, we are a private nonprofit, but yet we are licensed by HUD, Department of Justice, State of Iowa. You'd think we were a government program, and they don't send us any money. So our programs try to build a family's confidence in what they are. We know that if parents teach their children good money management when they're young, those children will be better equipped when they leave the home, when they go to college. We won't be hearing as many horror stories about ill things that happen to teenagers, to college students, if they know how to handle their money. A lot of people do not do that. So if you have a family, you have teenagers, sit them down and talk to them about money, about how much you have, how much, that probably doesn't sound right, how much you have to pay things out with. There's no such thing as money growing on trees. If only it did. We'd all have one of those trees in our yard.
I think, you know, we see that a lot of Habitat, like Mandy was talking about, that people don't realize or don't know, or something happens and your credit gets messed up. And it's that, I agree, like, to talk to your kids about keeping your credit, having good credit right from the start, not, you know, not always going to happen, but that it's such an important thing that you don't realize until you're really ready to purchase a house or anything else through Habitat or a conventional mortgage. Your credit is really important, and don't despair. You know, like Mandy said, we've had people that stuff has happened. You can fix it. You can make it better, and that sense of relief once you get everything straightened out, your confidence, like you said, Karen. I mean, I just sit there and think, oh, what a relief that must be for so many people to get that straightened out and figured out. When your money is in order and you've got it figured out, you feel good and you don't drive yourself crazy.
Yes, and it's depressing to all of us to owe money and not be able to pay it. Now, if we could always pay all of our bills, I think we'd all be a happier bunch. But that's not possible. There are sometimes decisions have to be made when somebody doesn't get paid who should. So if you feel in that kind of a bind, you need to sit down and talk to somebody. Talk to a credit counselor. Give us a call, and a counselor will sit down and go through your items with you and see what can be done. I've had people stop in to see me because they just want a little advice. They don't know if they should continue down this path, if I can help them, if they need a lawyer or whatever. And we'll just sit and talk just a little bit. Hey, but what about this? Have you thought about that? Give them some options, because sometimes people just don't think. Or they're too close to the situation. They're just too close. And family has to learn that they can't put all the pressure on the parents for money all the time. Children need to learn that there are things they have to go without. And that goes down to kids as young as 5 and 6. You know, it's not just teenagers at that point. And there is so much pressure. And I can't help but think, I like to watch TV. I watch quite a bit of TV. But the ads are all talking to me these days. I can't get over that. How did I get to this point where now all the ads are talking to me? I used to just make fun of them and I'd say, oh yes, well maybe, you know. But it works on people. Our advertising system is wonderful, and it convinces everybody they need everything. So you've got to keep your goal in mind. If you're going to purchase a home, you've got to say no a bunch of times. Because once you buy that home, you want to have some money for the other things that go along with it. Like the extra fixings, like having some money in the bank for repairs. I used to hear that's one of the major problems with new homeowners. They don't know what to do when they need a repair. Well, we're hoping that we are educating them better when it comes to the pre-purchase and when it comes to their own money. So they'll know that they have to have a reserve sitting there. And the reserve isn't for a trip to Kmart or a trip to Target or something like that. The reserve is if they have a problem with something that they can get it taken care of. Get a plumber in before the leak is costing you huge water bills. We've got frozen pipes at our building. This is the 3rd week in a row. So we don't know what's going to happen in this community with regard to water. Right now we pray for it.
And just one aspect of becoming a Habitat homeowner is the home maintenance class that we offer.
Yes, we do offer a home maintenance class. It's actually taught by a past board member of Habitat, and also he's on our regular volunteer crew, very knowledgeable about the home building process and what it takes to maintain your home. It's a very good class that breaks it down by season, what maintenance you need to keep up on your home, so things aren't coming back to bite you or cost you more money than what you can afford.
These programs are wonderful, and I know when we bought our house, it was a simple $100 down payment mortgage at a bank. So much comes out of the bank each month, that was it. There was nothing. There was no, hey, this is what the mortgage situation's gonna be like. This is what it's gonna be when you own your own home. This is what the insurance is gonna be. I mean, that stuff is all wrapped up with a nice bow on it and given it to you.
Our Habitat homeowners are very well prepared for home ownership, even more than a conventional mortgage holder like myself. You know, I wish I had some of these trainings and classes before I owned my house. You know, obviously, being a Habitat owner, that is a benefit too. And you know, or I'd like to say that to people who have a Habitat house and they're coming into their neighborhood. You know, if they're worried about that Habitat homeowner, no, they've been well-trained in maintenance, landscaping, and their finances.
That's wonderful to know, because there is that fear out there. Well, it's gonna be a Habitat house, but what are we gonna have there? Yeah, so
You're gonna have a good family that's put a lot of work into their home, their pride, and their future.
That's wonderful, because it improves our community. You know, every house that's torn down and not replaced is a hole in the community. Every home sold to someone who isn't really prepared, that's not much better than a hole, because they may be gone in a year. A Habitat homeowner is here for quite a while, right?
Yes, a lot of our homeowners do stay in their home for a significant amount of time, and I think the reason is because of the pride they've got, you know, building their own home, helping their community, improving their community, you know, improving their financial status. We do not have a lot of people moving in and out of the Habitat homes.
That's wonderful, because that too is community stability.
Mm-hmm.
And as a community, that's what we need, is stability of our residents, people who will shop at our shopping centers, grocery stores, and Habitat homeowners are going to be a secure part.
And their mortgage payment is made to be affordable for them, so maybe they don't have to take on 2 more jobs or anything like that. So it's a good for the family, so that there's a parent home with the kids, helps the kids have a steady home life. Someone's there to help with homework, as opposed to someone that's got a crazy high rent somewhere and having to work just to pay that rent. Or, you know, there's a lot of different scenarios like that, but basically what I'm saying is Habitat homeownership is really, really great for children.
And the school districts,
Mhm.
because they become stable children in the school district, easier to measure. One of the complaints that the administration had earlier was the number of children within the district that move around all year. Well, that won't happen with a Habitat home. Those children are in those homes and will be in that section of the district for the entire school year, and probably for several school years. So that is stability for the school district, as well as taxability for the county and the city of Waterloo. So you have homes in Waverly and Janesville as well?
We actually, we serve Butler and Bremer County. Our Bremer County homes are in Waverly, and then in Butler County, we've built in Clarksville and Parkersburg. We actually currently have lots available in Waverly, and we have a lot available in Parkersburg to build on.
So how do you get the lots? Are they deeded to you, or?
Some of them are purchased, some of them are given to us.
Okay, so once you have the lot, then your team goes out to determine the building from there? And you have basically 3-bedroom homes, or are they larger?
We build the homes based on the need of the family. A typical Habitat home is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath ranch-styled home. But if it's a larger family, we would